Hi everyone, my name's James Dean. I'm the CEO and founder of HRC Online. Now, in June 2023, CIPD released some new assessments for units 5CO01, 02 and 03. So what we're doing is just some videos just to summarize some of the changes that have happened, give you a bit of an insight into the assessment, and just sort of give you an idea as to how we would advise you approach this assessment, and point out some of the things that you really need to be aware of when moving forward. So the great thing about 5CO01 is the June 2022 and the June 2023 are all still one question, one task, one singular set of tasks, 12 questions in total to get you through the assessment. So it's no revolution, no task one and task two. It's just a singular assessment to see you all the way through. Now, as always, when you prepare for the task at the start of the assignment, you are encouraged to plan your assessment work with your assessor and, where appropriate, agree milestones that you can help and monitor your progress. HRC Online, we use learning engagement mentors. They will build a plan with you. They will do checkpoints with you and nudge you along to ensure that you get to the end of your assessment. Please ensure that you refer to the indicative content within the unit guide to support your evidence. If you are studying this assessment with ourselves, you can download it in the file section of the online platform. If you are studying with someone else, because we're making this available for everyone, they should have an area where you can spot the assessment and you can read through. The links are a great source of information to help you get through the assessment, so I definitely recommend reading the links within the learner brief. Pay attention to how your evidence is presented. Remember, you're working for a people practice team. This is always a clue, and this is always where people make an error potentially. You're working for a people practice team. Even if you're not working in HR at the moment, it's asking you to be in that mindset. It's asking you to write in the format that you are. So make sure that you keep that in mind. And the other one is, ensure evidence is generated for this assessment remains your own work. No plagiarism, no AI, no use of any other third-party tools. What I've noticed in the assessment so far is CIPD have integrated a lot more your opinion, because that's not very good for AI. AI is not very good at giving you an opinion. It's good at stating fact. So that the fact that there is a lot more opinion base within these assessments in terms of how they're phrased, it becomes really apparent and really easy to spot people that are using third-party tools. And with plagiarism and AI and a lot more tracking going on at this moment in time, it's easy to see if your writing style is different, because analyzing of writing styles has increased quite a lot with AI tracking tools. So please, please, please don't risk your future just because you want an easy path by buying an answer or trading an answer or anything like that. It's not worth it. It's not worth building a career in HR to have a qualification taken away or be removed from a qualification because you wanted to go about it a different, easier way. That's always my advice with anything like this, because you have the ability to do it. You are able to achieve this, and we can work together to make sure you do. Now, as I mentioned earlier, this is just a task set of questions. There is not going to be a scenario. You don't have to imagine yourself in any particular. You just have to imagine you're a people practitioner and you've been asked 12 questions. So, as I said, task one, the scenario is knowledge and understanding for this core unit will be assessed by written answers to the questions below. 12 questions with a grand total of 4,550 words. One thing we always do is we divide the words by the questions. That equals 380 words per question. It's not a lot of words per question. So don't be, writing Pride and Prejudice when it comes to your first answer, because you'll run out of words really quick. Try and limit yourself to no more than 400 words per question. I was recently at a meeting for marking and moderation with CIPD. The CIPD word count policy, plus or minus 10%. If you break above 10%, it's an instantaneous refer. So please make sure that you're trying to be rigid in your word count. You're not over allocating words to a particular question and under allocating to another. Try to do the division as I've done here to ensure that you keep yourself on track. But enough of that. What we're going to do now is we're just going to go through the questions within the assessment, and I'm just going to highlight some of the key things that I think you need to be aware of and that you need to keep your eye open for, because these are some of the common mistakes I see when people are studying the CIPD qualification and trying to do these assessments. So question 1 to 3, and we're going to go through 3 at a time just so that there's a bit of flow to this. Evaluate the advantages and disadvantages of organization structure in your organization or an organization you're familiar with. They understand not everyone's going to be working in an organization and a structure that they can do. Evaluate the advantages and disadvantages of one other organization structure. Within the evaluation, you should include the reasons underpinning the structure. Analyze connections between your organization strategy or an organization you're familiar with and its products, services, and customers. And analyze 3 external factors or trends currently impacting your organization or one which you're familiar. The impact of these factors or trends could be positive, neutral, or negative. Some are short-lived, whilst others are long-lasting. Identifying organizational priorities arising from factors or trends analyzed. Okay, so they're the first 3 questions. And in this next slide, I've just highlighted some areas where I see people go left. So evaluate the advantages and disadvantages. If I could double, I would. So what you've been asked is a question. Now, evaluate advantages. Remember, that's plural. Disadvantages, that's plural, of organization structure of your current organization or one you're familiar with. So you need to give multiple advantages, multiple disadvantages to an organization structure you're familiar with. And then you have to evaluate the advantages, again plural, and disadvantages, again plural, of other organization structure and the reasons underpinning this structure. So again, if you were to think about this 400 word count, advantages, disadvantages, advantages, disadvantages, reasons. You have 100 words for advantages, that's 50 words per advantage. 100 words for disadvantages, that's 50 words per disadvantages. The value, and again and again and again. So make sure that you really think about how you're going to approach these questions. You don't have time to say it back to us and explain what you understand the question to be. We're the one asking you this question. We're asking you a straight question. Just go straight into it. Advantages of a flat structure, hierarchical structure. Just go straight in for the answer. And then just line it out. Advantages, 1, 2. Disadvantages, 1, 2. Different organizational structure. Advantages, disadvantages. The reason the organization has this organizational structure is why. So try to be really efficient when answering the question, because this is one of the mistakes people make. You get a really big question like this and you can just get lost in the words. Now, the next one is analyze connections between your organization's strategy and its products or services and customers. So the way I would think about this is, if you imagine, obviously, us as HRC Online, our organizational strategy is to provide high quality online training so that others can provide high quality training to employees. So we train HR. So HR people are our customers. And our aim is to give them a great experience so that they can give others a great experience, because training often runs through HR. So what are the connections between our strategy? What are the connections between L&D within your strategy and organization? How has all that come together? So just think about it from that perspective. Pick something in your organization and just run it through. The other one, analyze 3. So again, you've got your subheadings there, haven't you? You've got 400 words and you've got 3 external factors and trends. They might be positive, neutral, or negative. So of the 3, I would pick 1 positive, 1 neutral, 1 negative. Shows I've holistically thought about it. So it might be something like the cost of living is having an impact on people doing X, Y, and Z. Or people working from home are struggling to get, to the office, and childcare's prices have gone up, or food prices have gone. All these different things that are having positive, neutral, and negative effect. Working from home, flexibility, all these things. All these are external factors and trends that could be impacting on your organization. So think about those and think about how they come together. They're the first 3 questions. Once again, we've highlighted here in green the main areas where people sort of miss an element. So make sure that you are answering all elements of the question, because you have to answer all elements of the question to pass the unit. You have to score a 2 on every single assessment criteria. A 2 equals a low pass, and it goes up to 4. So you've got 1 which is fail, 2 low pass, 3 pass, 4 high pass. So you can only get a pass if you answer all elements of the question. So ensure that you work through the question and highlight the key elements as we've done here. And then check yourself. Always check your own work. The next 3 questions are: when setting out its views on automation, AI, and technology, the CIPD states automation, artificial intelligence, and other workplace technologies are bringing major changes to work and employment. Assess the scale of technology within organizations and how it impacts work. The next one is explain Edgar Schein's model of organizational culture. Explain one theory or model which examines human behavior. Assess how people practices in your organization impact both organizational culture and behavior, drawing on examples to support your argument. Now, this is where a lot of people can sometimes get lost in questions. So again, we're going to highlight the areas where I would look. The first thing I've highlighted is that opening sentence. When setting out your views on automation, AI, and technology, it's not the question. It's a prelude to the question. The question is: assess the scale of technology within organizations and how it impacts work. That top bit is just setting the scene of the question. And sometimes you feel like you've got to go down this AI, automation, all these. No, assess the scale of technology within organizations and how it impacts work. Think about laptops and how working from home and home offices and chairs and how all that's changed. For example, it may be AI. Us as a training provider, we've got to start to think about how do we integrate AI technology so that we can give you a learning experience in AI, so that you can give others a learning experience in AI. How do we connect the dots together? So again, yes, it may be AI, but don't get fooled by the prelude to the question. That's an introduction. The question is: assess the scale of technology within organizations. The next part is explain Edgar Schein's model of organizational culture and explain one model and theory that examines human behavior. So you've got to explain Edgar Schein's model. That's 200 words. And then you've got to explain one theory or model which examines human behavior. That's another 200 words. It's broken into 2 parts, that question. Really easy, as long as you make sure that you answer both elements. And the final one is assess people practices in your organization that impacts both organizational culture and behavior, drawing on examples. CIPD really labored this point to us when we were at the markers meeting, which is they want to see evidence. They want examples. They want references. They want links. They want things connected. They want citations. So if you've been asked to do cultures and behaviors and draw examples, you give me culture, you give me behavior, and you give me citations and references on both. A lot of this qualification, assessing the scale of technology, there's references, everything needs that, but they're being really specific here. So if you don't draw on examples, case studies, reports, evidence, you will not pass this question. So always make sure that you're trying to work out, well, what's the main thing it wants me to do. Simplify the question, make it easier for yourself. Questions 7 to 9. Peter Cheese, current CEO of CIPD, asserts people professionals have vital function to supporting businesses adapt rapidly to changing circumstances. Explain 2 different models and theories to managing change. A variety of models have been developed to explain how change is experienced. Discuss one model and how change is experienced. The CIPD's Health and Wellbeing Work Survey found there is less management focus on health and wellbeing compared to the first year of the pandemic. And it goes on to remark that this is disappointing. Assess the importance of wellbeing at work factors and impact wellbeing. And if you remember last time, we talked about a prelude to a question, like an introduction. And we've got that here, Peter Cheese, current CEO. Again, it's not part of the question. You've been asked to explain 2 different models or theories to managing change. That is the question. A variety of models have been developed to explain how change is experienced. Again, it's a prelude. Discuss one model that explains how change is experienced. Where it gets slightly different is this CIPD Health and Wellbeing at Work survey. Well, that's telling you where the answer is. Assess the importance of well-being at work and factors which impact well-being. Well, you know now that there is a survey from 2022 that found these answers out. So instead of it being a prelude, it's giving you the answer, and then you assess the importance of well-being and work factors and how it all comes together. So this one's slightly different, and that's why I've highlighted it in a slightly different way. It's not a prelude. It's not anything that doesn't give you the answer. It gives you the direct answer, that last one. So they're the main elements of that. On to 10 to 12, the final 3 questions. CIPD professional map states people practices are the processes and approaches we use across the employee life cycle. Discuss the links between employee life cycle and different people practice roles. Analyze how people practice connects with other areas of the organization and supports wider people and organizational strategies, and discuss processes you have or could use for consulting and engaging with internal customers of the people function in order to understand their needs. Now, once again, I've highlighted some of the key areas. Discuss the links between. So if you're discussing the links, you're going to have to explain the employee life cycle, and then you're going to have to connect the links. So you've got recruitment, you've got reward, you've got retention, you've got all these different elements that are parts of different people's, exit interviews, all the employee life cycle, retirement, pensions, unions, all these different parts where people might engage across multiple years within an organization. You've got to discuss those links. So find the employee life cycle, look at the CIPD professional map. Once again, it's giving you a clue as to where some of the answers are. Next one, analyze how people practice connects with other areas of an organization. So again, it's not just about CIPD, your people professional. How do you connect with sales, finance, marketing, quality, or something else within the organization, and how that connects to organizational strategies. And the final one, processes and understanding their needs. There's some really important things. So discuss processes you have. All right. So as I mentioned at the start, you have, it's asking for your interpretation, or could use, again, your own personal interpretation about consulting and engaging with internal customers. So how do you communicate differently to people internally than you do externally? And those are the elements that you've got to put together. And how do you understand their needs? So that's pretty much it. That's a really quick whistle-stop tour through 5CO01. Very little has changed. Like I said, for this assessment, it's very much just phrases and the examples, and some of the intros to the questions are slightly different, but overall it's very, very similar. Same amount of assessment criteria, same amount of words, same amount of questions. It's just about reading the question fully and ensuring that you allocate the right amount of words to give that answer. I've been James Dean. This is HRC Online Assessment Review. Thank you very much for watching. Take care.